we are back. I hope everybody had a fun, safe, and enjoyable, relaxing even weekend. Remember that Phillies Daily during the offseason is just Phillies Monday through Friday, so that's why there was no video yesterday on Sunday or on Saturday either. A lot to talk about though still. Obviously, free agency started last week, as well as trades have been able to be resumed as well. You guys are much appreciated. Thank you for tuning in again. As always, none of this could be possible without you all. So again, thank you guys for your support. Welcome to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Now, we did find out, I believe it was last week maybe, it was when all the awards and stuff, a finalist came out for Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, MVPs, all that fun stuff. So the Phillies do have Cy Young. The Phillies do have a few finalists for those major awards. Kyle Schwarber, he is a finalist for the 2025 National League MVP Award. Christopher Sanchez, he is a finalist for the 2025 National League Cy Young Award. We all knew that was going to happen. We all knew they're most likely going to be the runner-ups in their respective award races. Kyle Schwarber is going to be the runner-up to Shohei Ohtani with the Dodgers most likely, and Christopher Sanchez will probably be the runner-up to Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. But one of the more surprising, shocking, I didn't really expect it, but honestly, I probably should have. Rob Thomson is a finalist, one of three finalists for the Manager of the Year award in the National League. Also, Cincinnati Reds manager Terry Francona and Milwaukee Brewers manager Pat Murphy are the other two finalists in the National League. Rob Thomson, like him or not, he has obviously gotten the Phillies to the playoffs his first 4 years as manager since taking over midseason for Joe Girardi back in the 2022 season. He's had success for the team, obviously not the playoff success over the last 2 years that we all would hope for, or that he had hoped for, or the Phillies organization would hope for. But Rob Thomson is still one of the most successful managers in the National League, really in all Major League Baseball this past year, the past couple of years since taking over. Now, the Phillies did have the third highest payroll in the entire major leagues for the 2025 season. The only two teams with a higher payroll than the Phillies were the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers, obviously, World Series champions in 2025, back-to-back champions at that in 2024 and 2025. The Phillies, third highest payroll. They were 96 and 66 in 2025. The Phillies, first place in the NL East, second best record in all of Major League Baseball behind only the Milwaukee Brewers. And obviously, back-to-back NL East champs as well. Now, Rob Thomson did great there. Obviously, second best record in Major League Baseball. First round bye in the playoffs. NL East champions. First place in the NL East. Almost 100 wins, 4 away from that. But you can argue that Terry Francona with the Reds and Pat Murphy with the Brewers did more for their teams with less. The Reds had the 19th highest payroll in all of Major League Baseball, as the Phillies had the third highest, and the Brewers had the 17th highest payroll. Phillies, again, the third highest. And both of those teams were playoff teams. All three of the teams were playoff teams with the Reds and Brewers, both playoff teams. The Brewers actually had the best record in the majors, right over the Phillies. So significantly lower payroll for both of those teams. The Brewers, 97 and 65 in 2025, first in their division in the NL Central. Best record in Major League Baseball, obviously came up short in the playoffs there during their playoff run, just like the Phillies did. The Reds, they weren't as good as the Phillies or the Brewers. Again, they had the 19th highest payroll, so below the average, I guess you could say. So the Reds went 83 and 79 in 2025. They snuck into the playoffs. They got hot down the stretch, snuck into the playoffs, got that final National League wild card spot, and made a little bit of noise there. Again, not the same talent that the Phillies have, not the same payroll. So impressive stuff out of Terry Francona and the Reds, impressive stuff out of Pat Murphy and the Brewers as well. Rob Thomson, he had been very successful since taking over in 2022 for Joe Girardi during that season. He had managed the Phillies to 4 consecutive playoff appearances, a World Series appearance in that 2022 season, 1 win away from a consecutive World Series appearance in 2023 that ended in a Game 7 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks that year, and then back-to-back NL East champions in 2024, 2025. Both times, though, lost in the first round that they played in the NLDS, first to the Mets, and then this year to the Dodgers. We all know as well, Rob Thomson, whether you wanted him to or not, will be back as the Phillies manager in 2026. So that success will probably keep on happening just because the Phillies are going to keep fielding competitive teams with some of these guys on long-term contracts, such as Bryce Harper, Trey Turner. Again, many fans wanted Rob Thompson gone after the 2025 season just because these past two playoffs, after really great regular seasons, winning the NL East both years, lost in the NLDS in 4 games, both times to the Mets first and then the Dodgers in 2025. Fans wanted him gone, even though he's been very successful. But again, very high payroll, one of the best rosters in Major League Baseball. They are expected to make the playoffs. They are expected to be one of the top teams with that. But then it comes down to coaching decisions, manager decisions, bullpen, everything, lineup, pinch hitting, pinch running, and playoff success obviously has not been on Rob Thompson's side with this team, especially in these past 2 years in 2024 and 2025. But he is a Manager of the Year finalist. Most likely won't win it. It's, again, incredible season by Thompson and the Phillies, but still, the Reds and the Brewers, both of their managers, did more with less, arguably, than Rob Thompson. So one of them deserve it over Rob Thompson, in my opinion, but still worth talking about. Good season by Topper and the Phillies. Now shifting over towards free agency. Again, it started last week. I believe it was Thursday evening. It started at 6 p.m., 4 p.m., one of those times. Free agency has started. It's been going on for a few days. Obviously, not many contracts happen in the early parts of free agency. Most of the big names don't happen really until the winter meetings time in December. That's when all the teams and everything, all the higher-ups in the organization, front offices get together, and that's where deals are made. Trades are happening around that time too. So stay tuned for that. It's about a month away now at this point, so it's going to be exciting this next month. A lot of rumors, a lot of just breaking news to be coming, to be had here in Major League Baseball. But Phillies general manager Preston Mattingly, he appeared on an episode of the High Hopes podcast on 94 WIP with Jack Fritz and James Seltzer ahead of the Phillies free agency period starting. And Preston Mattingly kind of fired Phillies fans up with what he said. He said, quote, "I think as an organization, we're just getting started. We're trying to build a monster here. I think we're going to keep trying to do that. Obviously, we've made a ton of trades to supplement our Major League club, and we're going to keep doing that as well to try to win because that's the ultimate goal. We're going to build this thing the right way. We're going to get a ton of players. We're going to develop them, and you're going to see home run players. As fans know, it takes time." So Preston Mattingly kind of fired us up saying the Phillies obviously are trying to always get better. They're trying to win a World Series. They are trying to develop, they're trying to bring in players, and they're trying to keep on winning. So a lot of fans kind of get down because they don't feel like the Phillies are going to make these moves. They're not going to make some roster changes. They're not going to shake up the roster. They're not trying to win that World Series. They're kind of just stuck where they're at. But it's good to hear the GM, the front office, understanding that they need to make moves to be able to get across this hump that they're stuck on and get into the promised land of winning a World Series championship, whether that's drafting, developing these young talents like we have in the minor leagues, the top prospects, or bringing guys in free agency, bringing guys in trades and changing things up and trying to win a World Series. So that was good to hear out of Preston Mattingly ahead of free agency. Maybe that gives you a little bit of inspiration, hopes, and dreams here as during the offseason as the Phillies prepare for a big 2026 season and potentially big just change here this offseason as well on the roster. We'll see what happens, but it's good to know that the front office is having the thought process of Preston Mattingly, how he said that on the High Hopes podcast last week. And that brings me into one of the most talked about, highly sought after players available this free agency period. He's not a traditional free agent, and that is Japan's phenom superstar, next big thing, Munetaka Murakami. He was reportedly posted, I believe it was Friday, officially posted for all 30 Major League teams to be able to sign as a free agent. Obviously has never played in Major League Baseball. He was playing in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, the NPB, for 8 years. He's only 25 years old, so he's got a lot of time ahead of him, and he's just getting into his prime years as well. His 45-day window did officially open when he was posted again. I believe it was Friday it was officially posted, so 45 days to negotiate and to sign with the Major League Baseball team. All 30 teams are available to do so, including our Philadelphia Phillies and the Athletics' Jim Bowden. He is a former GM, he's an analyst, insider, all that fun stuff. He predicted a 6-year, $160 million contract for Murakami to sign here in Major League Baseball. depending on what team he signs with. But that's what Bowden predicts, 6-year, $160 million. So a pretty pricey contract, obviously not as pricey as other guys are getting here in Major League Baseball, but still a lot of money and a big commitment for a guy who has never played in Major League Baseball. Now, I've seen predictions from Murakami as low as $80 million and as high as $225 million or more. So that $160 million is kind of right in the middle, and it could be really anywhere from there to north of $200 million, depending on his interest among clubs and bidding wars, all that kind of fun stuff. But again, Murakami, he's just 25 years old. He's a left-handed hitting third baseman and first baseman. He has 246 career home runs in 8 NPB seasons. He's significantly better fielder at first base than third base, but he does play both corners. He can DH as well. He won the Triple Crown in the NPB back in 2022 with a .318 batting average, 56 home runs, 134 RBIs. He was the younger player to do so, to win the Triple Crown at 22 years old in NPB history that year in 2022. He played in only just 56 games this past year in 2025 due to an oblique injury, but Murakami still was very impressive at the plate for his team, the Swallows, I believe their name are. But he had a .273 batting average in 2025 in those 56 games with a 1.043 OPS, 22 home runs, and 47 RBIs. So in those 56 games, he was on pace for 64 home runs and 136 RBIs in a 162-game MLB season. Obviously, those numbers probably would not happen, but he hit the 56 home runs in the past in 2022, 134, I think, RBIs I said. So, doable, but he's still a guy that is a 30 home run type of guy season. We don't know how that's going to translate to the major leagues. Obviously, it's different from playing in Japan to Major League Baseball, but he's got a ton of potential and still just 25 years old. He could be the perfect replacement for Kyle Schwarber as the Phillies' designated hitter. If Kyle Schwarber walks here in free agency, he's obviously a lot younger than Kyle Schwarber. He's got a lot more potential at this point, being 25 years old. They're both left-handed sluggers. He would benefit from playing at Citizens Bank Park there with a hitter-friendly ballpark. Murakami offers flexibility at first base and third base as well, so not solely a designated hitter, and that could lead into the Phillies also shaking things up by possibly trading Alec Boehm. He's been in trade rumors over the past year plus now. Third base, Murakami could play third base. That could also mean Bryce Harper's obviously the Phillies' first baseman, but Murakami could play first base, which could shift Bryce Harper back to the outfield and right field, which he said he'd be open to if the Phillies can get an impact player, impact first baseman, or Bryce Harper could also DH and kind of swap back and forth from playing first base, DH, even outfield, and then Murakami could also do the same thing, switching between third, first, DH. So it offers the Phillies a lot of options if they were to go after Murakami. It's obviously going to be kind of a risky commitment, but he's got a ton of potential. His strikeout rate's way too high, but still, that can be fixed. He's just 25 years old. He's got the power. He's got the elite potential. He's got the MVP potential, really, here. So the Phillies would definitely benefit from winning the sweepstakes for Munetaka Murakami this offseason. And that leads me into the Phillies' interest in the Japanese market over the years. The Phillies have been trying to make their name in the Japanese baseball market for a long time, really now. The Phillies haven't really had success. Now, they did have recent interest in both Roki Sasaki and Yoshinobu Yamamoto with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Obviously, they both ended up signing with the Dodgers over the past couple years. The Phillies reportedly also offered Yamamoto more money than the Dodgers. In fact, the most money, I think, offered by any team in Major League Baseball for him before he signed with the Dodgers, but he ultimately signed with the Dodgers. Japanese players, baseball players, you typically look to sign with the West Coast teams such as the Dodgers just because they know these big cities, they know the West Coast over there in Japan, they know New York City. So other teams, or teams like the Dodgers and Mariners, have had a lot of success attracting these Japanese baseball players coming over from the MPB, from the KBO. Other teams like the Yankees, obviously, and the Cubs also attract these players in these markets. The Phillies did try to make a move to kind of bring in possibly some attractions, some other notable reputation from the Japanese market, baseball market, signing Koyo Aoyagi last offseason. He was a 3-time All-Star NPB pitcher before he signed with the Phillies, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him or the Phillies in the system. He didn't make the Major League Baseball team out of spring training. He spent some time in the Phillies farm system, but he was ultimately released by the team in July, and he signed back with the NPB a few days later, I believe, that July. So the Phillies have been trying to get to the Japanese market. They've been in on these big names such as Sasaki and Yamamoto over the past couple years. They're definitely going to be in on Murakami as well. And obviously, the Phillies are a championship caliber team. They have star players, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, an elite pitching staff, some good bullpen pieces, some other pieces as well. Some of these young guys, obviously, in Justin Crawford, Aiden Miller, Andrew Painter, the top prospects coming up as well. So they also play in a big city like Philadelphia, which attracts, obviously, foreigners that don't know everywhere in the United States. They know these big cities such as LA, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, all these cities, all these teams. So the Phillies right now could be in a good position to finally attract a Japanese talent like Munetaka, Murakami. I hope it honestly happens. I think it would be the better play going after a guy like that, 25 years old, so much potential, rather than putting that money towards a 32, 33-year-old Kyle Schwarber, who's solely just a designated hitter, bound to just decline as the years go on. So I'd rather put that contract, that money, to a guy like Murakami than Kyle Schwarber. Let me know what you guys think and how you feel in the situation, but it's something to follow as these next 45-day window to sign Murakami go on in this offseason. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. You guys are much appreciated. I appreciate you all. So we'll be right back at it here tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy the Eagles game here tonight as well. Eagles versus the Packers, a great NFC matchup out there in Lambeau. Hopefully the Birds get the job done and keep on rolling. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.